The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Tuesday night, Southern California was not a pitcher's paradise. The White Sox and the Angels battling for first place in the American League West as we try to almost get to Memorial Day here in our 1978 replay, and they battled. Oh my goodness, did they battle. Ron Blomberg in the first, a 2-run double to make it 2-0 Chicago, and then the Angels struck back in the second for one. Rick Miller with a fielder's choice to make it 2-1. Then Ron Jackson singled home Bobby Grich in the third to tie the game, and then Ronnie scored on a wild pitch by Wilbur Wood to make it 3-2 Angels after 3. But the White Sox, oh, yeah, you know it, building a Hordene, and I know I'm not pronouncing that right, had a 2-run single to make it 4-3 Chicago in the fourth. And then California thought they did what they had to do. They sent 9 to the plate and played it 4. Bobby Grich, a 2-run single to give the Angels a 5-4 lead. Ron Jackson walked with the bases loaded to score Bobby Grich 6-4 Halos. And then Don Baylor hit a liner to score another one 7-4 after 4. But the White Sox weren't playing dead yet. George Orta's RBI single in the sixth made it 7-5. But California thought they had it all locked up in the sixth. Ron Jackson again, an RBI single to score Bobby Grich. And then Lyman Bostic hit into an error to short to make it 9-5 California. Is it over yet? Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? No! Eric Soderholm with a 3-run blast in the seventh to make it 9-8. Ron Blomberg tied the game with an RBI single to score George Orta in the bottom of the eighth to make it 9-9. And Henry Cruz with a 2-run single to give the White Sox an 11-9 win. The White Sox are within one of the Angels as we get ready for baseball here today. As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Baseball 78 replay. Tonight, from Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, it is the Chicago White Sox and the California Angels, brought to you by Digital Dice, the best podcast on the web for your sports simulation replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever else fine podcasts are listed. It's Chris Knapp against Ken Kravick on a beautiful night in Southern California. Well, apologies for how this ballpark's going to look. This is the default picture you're going to see for the Angels in a second. But the uniforms are there. The logos are there. I didn't like the default, or not the default, the one I had for 1978 for the Angels. It looked like the Big A scoreboard was turned sideways already, and that's just not right. But we were going to do Pittsburgh and the Mets. Montreal has subdued Pittsburgh a bit. We're going to show you the standings in a little while to show you that the National League East might actually become a race again after all. But we want to focus, at least in this day, on the American League West. It's a 5-team battle, and the Angels are being caught from behind by the White Sox, who are 2 back in the win column. They've both lost 17. Chris Knapp is looking for his 6th win of the year. Ken Kravick can probably go the distance for Chicago. It's no Dennis Lamp. So enjoy. It's the White Sox and the Angels next right here on Retro Sports Network. And so hopefully you're having a good afternoon. Chris Knapp, as I said, is 5-3 on the year with a 3.02 ERA. He is making his 9th start. 50 2/3 innings total. His last start came against the White Sox in Chicago, and the White Sox cleaned his clock. 4 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 3 and struck out 5. So in 50 2/3 innings, he allowed 45 hits, 20 runs, 17 earned, 4 homers. He's walked 17 and struck out 31. He is an ideal pitcher, although the weather today may make it a little harder for him. The wind is blowing from right to left at 16. A fly ball plus pitcher, and that fastball tops out at 92. How you doing, Mr. Mike? And so here is a lineup that Chris Knapp will face. Ralph Garr, who's still hitting .402, will lead off in left field. Don Kessinger doesn't sound like he had a good game last night, does it? Batting second, playing short. George Orta will play second and bat third. Ron Blomberg, the DH, the first one in American League history, as a matter of fact, will clean up. Lance Johnson is the first baseman, or Lamar Johnson will bat fifth. Bob Molinaro is in right. He'll bat sixth. Henry Cruz in center field will bat seventh. Soderholm, who had the big home run for the White Sox last night, will bat eighth. And Nordney, the catcher, and I didn't look, will bat ninth. Defensively for the Angels, Don Baylor is in left. DJ John, how are you? Baylor a 4 and a 3 in left. Bostic a 5 and a 6 in center. And Rick Miller is a 6 and a 7 in right. And they're looking around going, this isn't Anaheim Stadium. Yes. Yes, it is. No, I have it. I just didn't have time to make it look good. So you get the modern one instead. Carney Lansford's at third. He's a 6. Dave Chalk a 5 at short. Bobby Grich is a 9 at second. And Ron Jackson is a 6 at first. Brian Downing is the catcher, and people forget that he was a decent catcher, a 6 and a 5. And Chris Knapp is an 8 on the mound, but the fielding percentage of .857 isn't going to win him any gold gloves. Ralph Garr at .402. 2 homers and 11 RBI. And so, if you're ready, we're ready. Let's play some baseball on a Tuesday afternoon. The Angels are 21 and 17. This is game 39 for them. The White Sox, as my wife sneezes in the other room, is 19 and 17. This is game 37 for them. Pitch from Knapp and Garr, ground ball to Lansford over to Ron Jackson, and that's how this one starts. Ignore those seats out in left field. They're not really there. That's the leftovers from that abomination of a football stadium that used to be here. Don Kessinger at .261, a homer and 3 RBI. I did get the right picture folder back in place, though. These are the 78 pictures. Wind's blowing out from right to left at 16, 65 degrees, cool and comfortable. If you're coming over from Disneyland, hopefully you didn't ride a Yannette Funicello ride. If so, hopefully you got a little bit of Jif peanut butter. No, she was Skippy, wasn't she? Pitch from Knapp. Kessinger, ground ball up the middle. Grich over to first for the out. 2 away. Of course, the big A would be in left field where those people are not supposed to be. It is a small world. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. You do that with the right voice, you can just creep people out. It's a small world, after all. And DJ John says, the Rams home. Orta at .319, 2 homers and 24 RBI. John, when do you want game 2? Just give me a night. And we does it. Because that one's all set. Knapp's pitch in Orta in the right field. Miller going way back there, and that's long gone. So George Orta makes it 1-0 White Sox on his 3rd of the year. Orta just crushed that one. I think there were seats out there, and right? And so it's 1-0 for Ron Blomberg. At .303, no homers and 9 RBI. Knapp looking for his 6th win. Blomberg laces that one all the way to the wall and right. Ron Jackson dove and couldn't make the play. So Blomberg is on with a double. As far as Apichatter's concerned, the big one of Tornado. Thank you, DC. Was through downtown Nashville, and I think he's out in the country. Right state, but I don't think he's all right. We could do Thursday. Give me a time Saturday. Lamar Johnson, 262, 3 homers and 18 RBI. So runner on second, Bloomberg, who doesn't have any speed whatsoever. Knapp trying to get out of the first. And there's a liner into center field. That's going to score Bloomberg. Johnson's in with a double. Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, of course. Oh, no problem, my friend. Will be the AFC Championship game between the Seahawks and the Patriots. If you want the Patriots to win, patreon.com/Retro Sports Network. I take bribes. Bob Molinaro at 269, no homers and 9 RBI. And the White Sox have put 2 up in the first. Tape game, of course, will be done tomorrow. And I forgot what I picked for the live game. Oh, it's terrible. It's the Dodgers and the Giants. So I believe it's the Yankees is the tape game this week, and the Dodgers live on Thursday. Molinaro will ground ball, base hit left side. Johnson will round third and score. Starting to sound like the game I did last week. And it's 3-0 White Sox before the people can even think about trying to escape the traffic. Henry Cruz in center field had the big. All right. Well, let's do. I'll think of a time and I'll let you know Thursday. But so we'll do game 2. I got to pull out another Washington jersey. Between the Expos and the 94 Expos and the 2019 Nats. Cruz has 8 RBI, 2 homer, and is hitting .360. Knapp trying to get out of the first. Fly ball to right. Miller makes the catch to retire the side. But the Chi Sox put up a 3 spot on 4 hits and no errors. Half an inning in the books. It's the White Sox 3. Here come the Angels. So the lefty Ken Kravick on the mound. He is about to make start number 6. And the Angels have got to be salivating here. He's 1-3 with a 6.83 ERA. But his last start got him his first win. It was 4 nights ago against Oakland. He went the route 9 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 1 and struck out 7. So in 27 2/3 innings, Kravick has allowed 36 hits, 21 runs, all earned. 2 homers. He's walked 21 and struck out 17. He throws it hard, especially for 1978. He is a fastball pitcher who tops out at 95 and is a fly ball pitcher. And with this wind, you would think that the lefty should have some advantage here. Oh, but the best laid plans of mice and men. Bobby Grich at 3. Oh, I got to give you the lineup first, don't I? Bobby Grich leads off at second base. Dave Chalk, the shortstop, will bat second. Merv Rettenmund is the DH, hitting third. Papa Jack, Ron Jackson cleans up at first. Don Baylor in left will bat fifth. Baylor botched one the last time we had the Angels. Lyman Bostic is in center. He'll bat sixth. He bunted 18 gazillion times. That was against Milwaukee. Carney Lansford at third will bat seventh. Brian Downing, who I believe is a rookie in 78, will bat eighth. And Rick Miller, the right fielder, will bat ninth. And Knapp threw 22 pitches to survive the first inning. Grich at 329, 4 homers and 20 RBI. Ralph Garr is a 5 and a 3 in left. You know what? I noticed the leading hitter in baseball is not playing in this game. Gotta love as-played lineups. Henry Cruz is a 3 and a 7 in center. And Molinaro, who is now playing right field for Bobby Bonds, who's now in Texas, is a 5 and a 6 in right. Eric Soderholm is a 5 at third. Don Kessinger is a 6 at short. George Orta a 5 at second. Lamar Johnson is a 5 at first. It's an average infield, if you will. The catcher, DeHordney. Let me see if I can... I feel bad. Am I going to get our tab up? Yeah. Naha, as they call him. Mark Forsberg sent me how you pronounce it, and it's not here on the list. I've got the thing. William Gerard. He's from Hamtramck, Michigan. A year younger than my mommy, almost. And drafted by the Phillies in the 6th round of the 72 draft out of St. Clair County Community College in Port Huron, Michigan. And he played a long time. Had a career WAR of .02. Anyway, he's batting 9th. And there's a 5 and a 4 behind the plate. So Gritch gave you the numbers already. He's sitting on a 9-game hitting streak, and the Angels are down 3-0 before people could even get to their seats. Gritch laces that one into center field, so Bobby's hitting streak goes to 10 right off the bat, and that'll bring up Dave Chalk at 231. No homers and 10 RBI. Infield playing back. So we'll drop one down. Chalk squares, throw to first from the catcher. Orta's there, the bunt works, and there's one out for Rettenmund. At 387, no homers and an RBI. Lorenzo's our latest sub. He's now sub for 2 months. Appreciate that. Russ WG 1970 and Clinton Parks with a double follow. Gives me 67. Thanks you all so much here on Twitch. Rettenmund at the plate. Kravik delivers. Struck him out. He's not going to, well, he is going to strike out a few. A 1-2 swung on and missed. A 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and there's 2 out. Kravik struck out 154 in 203 innings. Here's Ron Jackson, 365, 2 homers and 13 RBI. 2 out, runner in scoring position for the Angels. Runner goes, strike 3. So Kravik crosses up Jackson on the fastball on the outside corner. The Angels do not score. They get a hit, no errors. We played 1. It's the White Sox 3, the Angels nothing. So Soderholm, Nahordny, and Gar. Soderholm at 266, 5 homers and 31 RBI. Fly ball left field. Baylor makes the catch, 1 away. Here's Bill. Bill at 194, a homer, and 13 RBI. I decided on this game about 20 minutes ago, so I did not look back into my comments to see how to pronounce this man's last name. Old enough to be my daddy, kind of. Here's the pitch, and there's a ground ball to Gritch over to first, and Knapp is finally settling in. 2 out for Gar. Knapp threw 9 batters, 30 pitches, an inning and 2/3. 4 hits, the home run by Orta, and no walks or strikeouts. 3 runs all earned. Gar is 0 for 1, and he's now hitting .398. Up the middle, Gritch. He stole the ball behind the bag and throws him out. So the White Sox go in order here in the second. Don Baylor coming up, 3-0 White Sox. Bostic and Lansford to follow, and Carney's hitting .400. Baylor at 279, 9 homers and 30 RBI. Kravik, 17 pitches in the first. Ball 4. So Baylor, hitting .258 in the month, will bring up Bostic at 312, no homers and 19 RBI. Throw to first, Baylor back. You're going to see these real quick. I'm going to take them down and then show you the standings again. So as Bostic digs in, let's tell you about what's going on in baseball since we've seen you last. The Dodgers and the Astros and Reds are all on winning streaks. The Dodgers and Astros have won 5 straight. Through the first 40, the Dodgers are at a brisk 25-15. They lead Houston by 3.5, Cincy by 5. You'll see the Dodgers and the Giants Saturday or Thursday at noon, and the Giants have lost 4 straight. In the East, Pittsburgh has lost 3 straight. Montreal has tamed them, and now the lead over Philadelphia is 6, although Pittsburgh really hasn't lost anything in the standings. Montreal, the Cubs, and the Mets are all within 10, and St. Louis is still 16 back. In the West, why you're seeing this game? Well, no one can do anything out there. Even Seattle is within a shout within 4. The White Sox are a game back. Texas a game back. Kansas City a game and a half back. Minnesota, who've only won 2 of their last 10, is only 3.5 back. In the East, the Yankees have won 6 straight and lead Milwaukee and Baltimore by 4 and Boston by 5.5. The Red Sox have decided that May's a much better time to poop the bed than the middle of summer. And the Yankees and Pirates have the best run differential at 59. The Cardinals and the Mariners, look at that. They're 4 out of first place. They're 20 and 24. But they have a run differential of minus 37. Pitch to Bostic. Ground ball to Kessinger. Might be 2. Orta for 1. Over to first. Go Mariners indeed. And they got the double play. So 2 out. And Kravik is happy for the pitcher's best friend. Carney Lansford at 400. No homers and 10 RBI. 2 out, bottom of the second. Lansford chops 1 to Kessinger. Over to Johnson. And that will retire the side. So, no runs, no hits. The walk squandered. No errors. After 2, it's still 3-0 Chicago. Chris Knapp. That looks so much like a yearbook picture, doesn't it? Don Kessinger is 0 for 1. Orta and Bloomberg to follow as we start the bottom of the third, top of the third. And we're playing a time warp game. This is where Robbie should be talking about getting your TurboTax CDs, right? Pitch to Kessinger. Into right field. Miller moves over. Makes the catch for the out. 1 away. Orta. Solo shot. His 3rd of the year. His first time up. Gave the White Sox a 1-0 lead. Sends this one to right. Back goes Miller. This will stay in the yard. And there's 2 out. For Mr. Bloomberg, not running for president. He's got himself a double, however. 1 for 1 and scored. Pitch to Ronnie is fouled back behind the plate. And the count goes to 0-2. Knapp pitched a while. And, of course, is 3rd in the Angel rotation in 78, behind Frank Tanana, who we've had on. But we've yet to have a Nolan Ryan start. Bloomberg into left. Baylor makes the catch, and that will retire the side. 2.5 down. It's still the White Sox 3, the Angels nothing. Brian Downing off to a slow start, 194. No homers and 8 RBI. Kravik has allowed 1 hit through 2. Miller and Grich to follow. And he got him. He got him on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner. And there's 1 out for Rick Miller. At 2:38, no homers and 9 RBI. Mr. John, is 9 a.m. too early for you Saturday? Here's the pitch. Miller right back to Kravik. Over to first for the out. So 2 quick out. Kravik, 37 pitches. He can throw 135, so that's not a problem, through 9 batters. 2 2/3 innings, 1 hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Bobby Grich had to hit. He's 1 for 1 and is now hitting .333. He deals. Ball 4, so Grich has reached a base twice. The mind thinks these things through fast, but the mouth has a hard time getting it out. Dave Chalk at 2:31. No homers and 10 RBI. So hopefully Appichatter in Tennessee is okay. Of course, downtown Nashville had a terrific tornado rip through in the overnight hours here on the East Coast. Always tough when any of those areas get it. All right, well, let's do it then. And you can watch in your PJs. I won't wear my PJs. But I will find out another Nats thing. So, noon on Saturday Eastern, 9 Pacific for Game 2 of the Expos and the Nats. And I'm not going to say who's ahead in that series. But we had a fun time last night, for sure. Chalk had a sac bunt his first time up. Can't do that. 2 out. Pitch from Kravick, and Chalk ground ball to Johnson. Takes it to the bag himself for the out. So the Angels are stymied again. They've left 2 on. And yes, the Sox are wearing their jammies this game, Mike, for sure. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Halos strand 1 after 3-0 Chicago. So Lamar Johnson, who had a double, a run scored, and an RBI. Molinaro and Cruz due up for the White Sox here. The White Sox in those navy blue things that would be best described as 70s. Although I think the Cubbies powder blue pinstripe stuff from the 70s was worse. And the Angels are wearing white. As they should, because they're Angels. Johnson into right field. Miller in the corner and makes the catch. Bob Molinaro singled and drove in a run. And the first, his first time yet. Not Labor Day yet. No, well, it's not Memorial Day yet either. So, but yes, if you're in Southern California, you can wear white any time of year. Molinaro swings, ground ball up the middle. Gritch behind the bag over to Jackson for the out. 2 out for Henry Cruz. I do love the collars on those white jerseys, though. Garish even for the 70s, I think. Thankfully, they're not wearing the big ruffle bow tie and the shirts that look like they could have come off your grandmother's drapes. 2 outs for Cruz. Knapp's pitch in the right center field. Bostic will go back. He makes a diving catch. How about that? So no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's still 3-0 White Sox. Merv Rettenmund struck out his first time up. Jackson and Baylor to follow to face Kravick here in the 4th. And this time it goes into shallow right center. Cruz will come in and make the catch. 1 out. So Kravick is dealing, man. Jackson struck out his first time up. Kravick has fanned 3 and walked 2. Popped up, left side, Soderholm, 2 out. You've been to my grandma's house. John, you and I aren't that far apart in age. We might have shared the same grandma. Except for I lived on the East Coast. Baylor walked his first time up. And you just thought Ruffles was a brand of chips. Pitch to Baylor, and there's a line drive. Kessinger is there. Snares it for the 3rd out. No runs, no hits, no errors. We played 4. Not much going on for the Halos. It's the White Sox 3, California nothing. Soderholm, the catcher, and Gar, not Terry, to face Knapp in the 5th. Eric is 0 for 1. Struck him out. He got him on an 0-2 change looking. I think he was thinking fastball and just was surprised by it. So Knapp, that's his first strikeout. Here's Bill, the catcher. He's 0 for 1. Only hits righties in a 196 clip. Larry Doby is listed as a manager for the White Sox, but I'm not sure if that was for the whole year or what. I don't know if they fired Lemon and then the Yankees hired him, or if Doby was the manager all the way through. Of course, the White Sox who our dear friend Baseball Demos is doing the 77 replay, overachieved that year and then kind of hung around the periphery until the early 80s. Here's the pitch. Line drive, chalk is there. 2 out. For Ralph Garr, so Knapp threw 18 batters, a pretty crisp 63 pitches, and 4 2/3 innings. 4 hits, the homer to Warda, and just a strikeout. Garr is 0 for 2. And this time he sends this one into right center. Bostic is there and makes the catch. Halfway home, no runs, no hits, no errors. It's the White Sox 3, the Angels nothing. Did I hit it? So this has been a pitcher's duel. The 77 Sox are a fun team to play. Kravic throwing a one-hitter through 4. He's walked 2 and struck out 3. Knapp through 5, 4 innings, 4 hits. 3 runs all in, the homer to Warda, and struck out 1. White Sox as a team are hitting 301, California 289. And a whole bunch of ones on the board. How you doing, DC? Oh, yeah, the Giant Bear game was great, wasn't it? Absolutely fun to do. And I think the Bears are going to give the 49ers some fits. The question is, as Lyman Bostic comes to the plate, he grounded into a double play his first time up. Who did the Bears start at quarterback? Because Jim McMahon was so stinky, he got benched. Pitch to Bostic into center field. Henry Cruz is there for the out, 1 away. You go with Tomzak? You go with Harbaugh? Or do you get lucky and think that Dougie Flutie can beat the 49ers? And, of course, Joe Montana is going to be raring to go for San Francisco. That's in 2 weeks. So a possible nightmare sequel for the Patriots. Yep, if they can beat Seattle. And we'll take your Patriots bribes now at patreon.com/retrosportsnetwork. Yes, we definitely could have the first ever repeat in consecutive years Super Bowl if both the Patriots and the Bears win. It's only 12:30, baby. Okay. So the wifey's going to work. Wish her well. So the Patriots and Seahawks noon Eastern Sunday. Lansford is 0 for 1. Pitch from Kravic. Popped up left side. Kessinger and Soderholm have a conversation. Eric says, my ball. And there's 2 out. And yes, I think they both should be good games. Seattle can run. And they have Steve Largent. But I think Tony Eason has a better receivers. And I'm taking San Francisco over the Bears. Brian Downing is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Pitch from Kravic. Ground ball up the middle. Kessinger over to first. And Kravic is just dealing out there. That's the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 5, Chicago 3, California nothing. So Kessinger, Orta, and Bloomberg here in the 6th. Don is 0 for 2. Oh, yeah, it's such a shame about Bostic, isn't he? Isn't it? And sadly, this is the year that he wouldn't finish. Can you imagine the Angels in 79 if he was in center field? I think they would have given the Orioles a much better series. Kessinger is 0 for 2. Pitch from Knapp. Liner right back to Chris. Ho-ho! Look what I found, Mommy. And that is a mighty duck catch. George Orta, 1 for 2. He hit the solo shot in the first to make it 1-0 White Sox. So these two teams are even in the loss column. And the White Sox have 2 games in hand. Knapp's pitch into right center field. Bostic going back. That's going to hit off the top of the wall, and Order's got himself a double. Ron Blomberg, who scored on his double in the first, is 1 for 2. That's only the 5th hit. Knapp has pitched well. He just hasn't pitched well enough. Pitch to Blomberg. Line drive to Lansford. And Orta certainly was a good hitter without a position. And should be absolutely beloved in Kansas City. Lamar Johnson doubled his first time up, 1 for 2. He scored in that first inning and drove in his 19th of the year. So Knapp trying to get through the 6th. 2 out. Line drive, foul, third base side. Somebody from Rancho Cucamonga. I love that name. Made the catch. They're wearing jackets, 62 degrees. Wind's blowing in from right field now at 16. You can smell the oranges from those orange groves out behind the 57. Johnson into right field. Miller, that will stay in the yard in that wind, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. White Sox strand a runner after 5.5. It's still 3-0 Chicago. So Miller, Grich, and Chalk to face Kravick here in the 6th. And Rick is 0 for 1. Pitch from Kravick. Miller, ground ball to Orta. Over to first. 1 out. You know, speaking of a man without a position, and I'm not saying this to slight him at all, Pete Rose pretty much played everything. But there wasn't, what position would you say he was? In 75, he was a third baseman for the Reds. Played some outfield, played some first. The only thing I don't think he did was pitch and caught. But he could hit. And he wore that Grecian Formula 44 just fine. Bobby Grich walked and singled. He is, I believe, the only base. No, these Kravick's walked too. Only 1 or 2 hitters for the Angels to reach. Kravick threw 18 batters, 5 1/3 innings. 60 pitches. 1 hit, walked 2, and struck out 3. Orta was an outside all-star outfielder or Rose? Pitch from Kravick. Into right, Molinaro for the out. But no one under the age of 50 remembers him as an outfielder. Dave Chalk is 0 for 1, also bunted. We're talking Pete Rose here. Rose was a 17-time All-Star. I think of him as a first baseman because that's the age that position he was when I really started to pay attention to things, and was good with the Phillies and Reds at first. Pitch to Chalk. There's a ground ball, base hit right side. So the Angels finally have their second hit and 2 out for Rettenmund, who was 0 for 2 with the strikeout. Throw to first. Chalk's not going anywhere. He's back. 3-0 White Sox. Bottom of the 6th, 2 out. Yep. DC says, my dad simply could not stand Rose. He will always be the first sacker after making that. Oh, man, what a play that was in Game 6 of the 80 World Series. He made the catch. Off of Tug McGraw's glove, right in the waiting hands of Pete Rose. Rettenmund, ground ball up the middle. Kravick over to first for the out. And that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 6, it's still 3-0 White Sox. Hasn't crushed much lefties today. Molinaro is 1 for 2. He's got himself an RBI single. Henry Cruz and Sonderholm to follow. Pitch from Knapp. And that's a bunt. Downing will pick it up, and Molinaro beat that one out all the way. In fact, the throw went into the outfield. So Downing should have ate it. And instead, he gets charged with an E2. So the first error of the ball game goes to the Downing and the Angels. They'll bring up Cruz, who's 0 for 2. Throw to first. Molinaro is back. Yeah, see, that's the thing. John grew up with Rose playing third. I would never have known that Rose was a steady outfielder. And Trey Turner, by the way, came up as of course, was an infielder, but they already had a shortstop, and so they put Trey in at center field when the Nats called him up a few years ago. Pitch to Cruz is a fly ball to right. Miller makes the catch. Molinaro back to first. 1 out for Soderholm, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. The lone strikeout from Knapp. Here's the pitch. There goes Molinaro, and it goes in as a stolen base. They'll never get him. Downing with a timid throw, and for Bob, that's steal number 7. So 1 out, and Soderholm has a 1-0 count on him, and Molinaro is in scoring position. Knapp delivers, and it hit him. Oh, that's not going to help out the cause at all, is it? So Knapp, maybe that tank is starting to run a bit on E for Bill the catcher, who was 0 for 2. So runners on first and second, 1 out. Pitch from Knapp. Struck him out. He got him on a 1-2 fastball in the inside corner at the knees at 94, and that's big. That's 2 out. So through 27 batters, Knapp at 96 pitches through 6 2/3, 5 hits. All 3 of those earned runs came in the first. He has walked none and struck out 2. Gar is 0 for 3. 3-0 White Sox top the 7th. And Gar pops it up. Downing takes off the mask into foul territory. Now Will retired the side. Stretch time, 3-0 Chicago. That's Nancy Dell's sister Susie on the organ. And of course, I'm sure you can find some Farmer John. Okay. Farmer John products in Anaheim at your local Vons, and that again would be the Farmer and the Dell. Why doesn't the PC version of Stratomatic keep season-long hitting stats for pitchers? You are missing something. They're actually in the team stats. Will tell you, give you the stats for the individual pitchers, and I think if you click on a pitcher in the notebook, it'll give you those too. But for the longest time, of course, you can't have the individual pitching hitting cards, but generally it's just the 1 through, is it 6 or 8? Anyway, Ron Jackson's at the plate, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. It's there, but as John says, you got to dig a little bit for it. Kravik starts the inning with a ground ball or line drive left field for Jackson. Don Baylor is 0 for 1 with a walk. Only the 3rd hit for the Angels in the ballgame. White Sox have 5. They've left 4 on. Angels with 3 hits, no runs, and an error, and they've stranded 3 so far. Kravik's pitch. Baylor draws a walk, and the Angels got something cooking here. And since it's in Southern California, it's going to be with some charcoal, not some gas. Bostic, 0 for 2. Kravik was cruising right along until this inning. Ground ball to Warda might be 2. No, only play is to first, and so they get Lyman there. So Jackson on third, Baylor on second, 1 out for Lansford, who was 0 for 2, rather. So the Angels trying to gussy up the ointment just a little bit. Pitch from Kravick. Got away from Bill the catcher, and Jackson will score. Baylor goes to third, and everybody moves up 90 on the wild pitch. And it's 3-1. It's compiled, but I'm not sure, the basic of strat baseball on the computer is the card game. They're there. Lansford is 0 for 2. He's got the tying run on third. And the Angels finally break through. 2-1 count. Pitch. Lansford up the middle. That's going to drop for a base hit. Baylor will score, and it's now 3-2. Brings up Brian Downing, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Runner on first. The Angels really do have something going on here. Kravick delivers, and Downing laces one up the middle past a diving order. Lansford will hold at second, and now the tying run is in scoring position. The go-ahead run's on first for Rick Miller, who is 0 for 2. The infield playing back, and with Grich on deck. Miller's going to square. He does. Kravick over to order covering, and the sacrifice works. So now Downing, the go-ahead run, is in scoring position for Bobby Grich, who was 1 for 2. He is singled and walked. Yes, they did. They had some really good players. How you doing, Mr. Parks? Strat's a great game, Clinton. You don't know what you're missing. Gene Mauch probably had more to do with what the Angels couldn't do. Certainly in 82. And I think he still gets most of the blame for what happened in 86. Kravick trying to hold on to a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. Delivers, and Grich singles into left field. Lansford and Downing score, and the Angels go up 4-3. Well, good for you. I'm glad you like it. Buddy, I'll do a video for you in the next day or two about the ballparks. Chalk, 1 for 2. Dave's got his single, and Kravick has blown his lead. And Chalk draws a walk. And you got to wonder how long the computer's going to go with Kravick. Here's Rittenmond. He's 0 for 3. He is struck out. 2 out. Angels have put 4 across here in the bottom of the 7th to take a 4-3 lead. Bill the catcher and Kravick go out and have a few words. Rittenmond draws a walk, and they're loaded for Ron Jackson, who is 1 for 3. He is struck out, singled, and scored. And so Chris Knapp, who I didn't think was going to get a win, is now on the right end of a 4-3 lead. Jackson into right. Molinaro makes the catch, and the Angels will leave him loaded, but not before they put 4 on the board. On 4 hits and no errors, we've played 7. California 4, Chicago 3. So Kessinger, Orta, and Bloomberg here in the 8th, and Kessinger is 0 for 3. You know what? I never gave you the batting or the ballpark effects. If you're a lefty, you're hitting league average here. Nothing doing, helping you, or hurting you. Home runs, though, you got a 16% better chance. A righty's 6% better batting average, but minus 11 in the home run department. And the wind, right to left at 16 right now, 59 degrees. And so even the women are wearing parkas tonight. Knapp's pitch, Kessinger into left field. Baylor, 1 out. AI is worse than Mauch and the current Giant manager. The Brock trade, yep, for the Phillies in 64. Yeah, I always in Strata, I always manage both teams. Uh-oh, and I'm John's pusher. Here's George Orta. 2 for 3. He's doubled and homered. Now, homer came in the first. Pitch from Knapp. Struck him out. He got him on a 2-2 fastball. So 2 outs for Bloomberg. Was 1 for 3. He has doubled and scored. That came in the first. The Chi Sox got 3 in the first, and that was it. So Knapp looking to go 8 here. Pitch to Bloomberg. Into right field, tie game. Oh, baby, did he get all of that one. All Rick Miller could do is turn and watch it go. So here it is. Bloomberg just crushed that one. 4-4. So it brings up Lamar Johnson. 1 for 3. He's got a double and an RBI and a run scored. And so Knapp kind of digs away at the mound. When did you get it, Clinton? Pitch to Johnson in the center field. Bostic is there. We go to the bottom of the 8th. But the solo shot by Bloomberg ties us up. A run, a hit, no errors. 7.5 down. 4-4. Chicago and California. So Ken Kravick has giveth taken away, and now he could get a no decision unless he does something here. Don Baylor has walked twice and scored once. He's 0 for 1. Oh, you bought it 2 years ago. Yep. Pitch to Baylor. Ground ball is short. Kessinger deep in the hole over to first for the out. So here's Bostic. Lyman's 0 for 3. Yep. Both teams have 4 runs on 6 hits. The Angels have an error. And they've also stranded 6. The White Sox have stranded 4. Molinaro, Cruz, and Soderholm for the White Sox in the 9th. Yep. Pitch to Bostic. Up the middle for a base hit. So the potential winning run is on. And Soderholm and Johnson guard the lines for Carney Lansford. Is 1 for 3. Singled. Scored and drove in a run. That came in the 4th. So Kravick starting to tire out here in the bottom of the 8th. Throw to first. Bostic is out. Bostic got caught napping, and Johnson put on the easy tag. 2 out. Well, well, well. So Lansford, 1 for 3. Nobody on, 2 out. Bottom of the 8th. Cardiac time is coming. Here's the pitch, and there's a liner into center field. That's going to drop in front of Henry Cruz. And again, the Angels had the go-ahead run on with 2 out for Brian Downing, who was 1 for 3. He has struck out and singled and scored. Kravick delivers, and that's in the popped up the middle. Kessinger by the hind second base makes the catch. And that will retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. We go to the 9th. We're going to have a pitching change here. White Sox and Angels tied at 4. Bum, 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 bum. So out comes Knapp. And in comes Dyer Miller, making his 11th appearance of the year. He's 1-2 with a save and an ERA of 2.04. He last pitched against the Brewers on the 21st. He went an inning, took a loss, 3 runs all earned. He walked 2 and didn't strike out anybody. And so in 17 2/3 innings, he's allowed 12 hits, 4 runs all earned, a homer. He has walked 10 and struck out 6. And he is now the pitcher of record for California. Molinaro, Cruz, and Soderholm here in the top of the ninth. And for the Angels, Miller, Grich, and Chalk. Molinaro, fly ball right field. Miller, 1 out. Henry Cruz is 0 for 3. White Sox a game behind the Angels here in the American League West race, about a quarter of the way through the season. Pitch Cruz. Ball 4. So the White Sox have the go-ahead run on, and Alan Bannister is going to pinch run. Soderholm, not a threat to bunt. 0 for 2 with the strikeout. Throw back, and Bannister's not going anywhere. So Miller will concentrate on the plate. Soderholm, ground ball to third. Lansford to Grich for 1. There's no throw to first. But they get the lead runner, and that's what pinch running will do. It got you nowhere. Now, Bill, the catcher's up. Clinton might be able to tell me how I mispronounced his name. My buddy Mark Forsberg did, and I realized I didn't look before the start of the game. And it's one of those rare names that isn't listed on Baseball Reference. Anyway, he's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Yep. So 2 out. Here's the pitch. Line drive to third. Lansford's there, and that will retire the side. So it is cardiac time in Southern California. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the ninth. 4-4 the score. So Kravick, who's being run by the computer, by the way, starts the ninth. Miller, Grich, and Chalk. Rick, we're going to pinch hit for. And we're going to use Joe Rudy. At .355, 4 homers and 15 RBI. Nahor Rodney? Yep, cardiac baseball right here for you. Remember, if we get a walk-off, I can't replay it, so you'll just have to take my word. Pitch to Rudy. Struck him out. He got him on a 2-2 fastball on the outside corner. And for Kravick, that's his 4th strikeout. So he's pitched to 36 batters, 130 pitches, 8 1/3 innings, 8 hits. He has walked 5 and struck out 4. Grich is 2 for 3. He has singled twice, walked once, and driven in 2. And that came in the 7th. Pitch from Kravick. Ball 4. And so the winning run is on. For Chalk, Soderholm and Johnson guard the lines. Chalk has sacrificed, singled, and walked. He's 1 for 2. Kravick has walked 6. Hit and run is on. There's a liner in the right field. Grich is going to go to third on the single, and the Angels have him in the corners for Merv Rettenmund, who is 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. So the Angels are hoping to walk this one up. And Kravick looks tired to me. 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the White Sox. They've left 5 on. The Angels, 4 runs, 9 hits, and an error, and they've left 7 on. The pitch. Struck him out. A 1-2 off-speed pitch, and Rettenmund swung on and missed. 2 out. Oh, baby. And now bring up Ron Jackson, who's 1 for 4. He has singled, struck out, and scored a run. The winning run is on third. Mr. Chalk can just kind of sit there at first and look pretty. His run doesn't mean a thing. Kravick deals. Chopper to third. Soderholm to Orta, and we're going extras. Freebie baseball in California. No runs, a hit. The Angels strand 2 after 9, 4-4. So Kenny Landreau, who's a 3 and a 7, will bat ninth and play right field. Ralph Garr is 0 for 4, so we're going extra. The Angels have stranded 9, the White Sox 5. Miller, base hit right field. Landreau throws it back in, and that's the 7th hit for the White Sox. Brings up Don Kessinger. Jackson and Lansford come in for a bunt. Miller thought this game was won. The Angels had a runner on third and one out and could not score. He does bunt. Downing over to Grich. Sacrifice works. It goes on the card 2-4, and that'll bring up Orta, who was 2 for 4, has doubled, a solo homer, and struck out. And they're pointing, and it's 4 wide ones to Orta. So Ron Blomberg, who's doubled and homered, he's 2 for 4, has scored twice. The Angels are trying for 2. It'll be Baylor, Bostic, and Lansford in the bottom of the 10th. Pitch to Blomberg, and that's into right center field. Bostic will make the catch. Garr will tag and hold. So Lamar Johnson, 1 for 4. That one hit was a double. An RBI and a run scored. Pitch from Miller. Ground ball to the right side. Jackson flips it to Miller, covering, and the side is retired. So the White Sox strand 2. No runs, a hit, and no errors. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Jim Willoughby coming in. Hang on to your hats, Red Sox fans. 4-4, Chicago and California. Jim Willoughby is 2-1. This is his 12th relief appearance. He has an ERA of 1.80. His last appearance was 5 days ago against the A's. An inning and 2/3, a hit, a run it was earned, no decision. He walked 3 and struck out 1. So in 20 innings, 19 hits, a homer, 7 runs, 4 earned. He's walked 8 and struck out 14. So Willoughby and Miller now the pitchers of record. Baylor, Bostic, and Lansford here in the bottom of the 10th. And if the game should move to the 11th, Molinaro, Bannister, who's in center, he's a 2-1. Oof. And Soderholm. Pitch for to Baylor is a line drive foul. Somebody from Azusa made that play. Baylor has walked twice and is 0 for 2, and one of those walks he scored. Struck him out. He got him on a 1-2 pitch for strike 3. Willoughby is a fastball pitcher. He throws it at 85, and he'll keep it on the ground. Bostic, 1 for 4. Pitched to from Willoughby is into center field. Bannister moves over to his right, our left, and there's 2 out for Lansford. There's 2 for 4. Has an RBI and a run scored. That hit chalk. Come on up. Nope. Pitch to Carney. Struck him out. Willoughby got him on a 2-2 curveball for strike 3. Nothing across here in the bottom of the 10th. It's still the White Sox 4, the Angels 4. Dyer Miller to face Molinaro, Bannister, and Soderholm. Molinaro, 1 for 4. He stole his 7th base of the year after that single and has an RBI. Miller in his 3rd full inning. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. A check swing on a 2-2 for strike 3. And that's the first for Miller. Here's Alan Bannister. Can't tell you too much about him as far as the replay is concerned because he's all of 1 of 8. He's grounded into 2 double plays and struck out once. On the real year, 224, no homers, and 8 RBI. And Claudell Washington will pinch hit. So Claudell Coming over from Texas in the Bobby Bonds trade is 2 for 8 with 2 RBI with the White Sox. Excuse me. That cherry seltzer wants to say hello. Washington 264, 5 triples and 6 homers with the White Sox. Ground ball, right side, Grich to Miller covering for the out. So 2 out for Soderholm, was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Downing, Landreau, and Grich for the Angels in the bottom of the 11th. Soderholm 0 for 3. Miller's pitch struck him out. So Dyer Miller goes 3 beautiful innings. No runs, no hits, and no errors. After 10.5, it's still 4-4 the score. So Downing, Landreau, and Grich. Downing is 1 for 4. He has singled and scored and struck out. Pitch from Willoughby. Ground ball to second. Orta over to Johnson for the out. Clinton knows everything. So here's a question for you, fine sir. What position do you consider Pete Rose best at? That's a serious in the field. DC says Bannister was supposed to be a stud coming out of college, if I remember correctly. I think he went to Arizona State, played on a few teams. I remember he in the majors. I know he played some for Cleveland. Kenny Landreau at 244, no homers and 3 RBI. 1 out, bottom of the 11th, 4-4 the score. Catcher Gar and Kessinger for the White Sox if we go to the 12th. Landreau popped up right side. Molinaro has it go foul. Pasadena. Community College of Pasadena is what that sweatshirt says from that young lady who made the catch. And the count is 0-2. Pitch to Landreau. Ground ball to Orta over to first, and George made the play. DJ Zahn says his best position was left field for Tommy Rose here. Okay. 2 out for Grich, who's 2 for 3. Willoughby is about to finish his second inning of work. Bobby has singled twice, driven in 2, and walked twice. Grich. Slow chopper to Johnson. He'll underhand it to Willoughby covering, and that will retire the side. 11 are down. We've played that much. And it's 4-4. So Miller will face Bill, the catcher, Gar, and Kessinger. But any base runner will do it for Dyer. Bill is 0 for 4. He struck out once. And Wayne Nordhagen will come in to pinch hit. Wayne at 310, a homer, and 14 RBI. Pitch from Miller, Nordhagen, ground ball, Grich behind the back at second, over to first for the out. Ralph Gar, he's had a tough afternoon, 1 for 5, that with a single, and that average went from 402 to 393. Chalk Rettenmund, maybe, and Jackson for the Angels in the bottom of the 12th. Pitch from Miller. Gar pops it up. Downing takes off the mask, goes towards the track, and makes the catch for the out. So Dyer and Miller. John says, but Clinton was there. I only saw it in the black and white photos. Don Kessinger was there. He's 0 for 4. Pitch from Miller. Kessinger laces that one into right field. Landreau will pick it up on a couple of hops. And that's a 2-out single for Orta, who is 2 for 4. He is doubled and homered. So that'll be all for Miller. And the Angels will go with Dave LaRoche. We got a pitching change. This game is coming to you from Anaheim Stadium in beautiful, sunny Southern California. LaRoche making appearance number 17. He is 3-2 with 6 saves and an ERA of 2.77. He pitched last night. He went 1 inning and took the loss. 4 hits, 3 runs all earned. And so in 26 innings, he's allowed 21 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, and 2 home runs. He has walked 10 and struck out 20. He struck out 70 in 95 and 2/3 real innings. So Kessinger on first. Order at the plate, 2 for 4. Lefty versus lefty. Ground ball right to LaRoche. Over to first for the easy out. And so that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. I think Clinton went back to work. We go to the bottom of the 12th. It's 4-4. So Chalk, Rettenmund, maybe, and Jackson to face Jim Willoughby. Chalk is 2 for 3. He is singled twice and walked. Pitched from Willoughby. Popped up. Center field. Washington is a 4 out there in center. And he makes the play. He had 90... Right field, Clinton says, okay? He had 99 outfield assists, including 49 from left and 43 for right. But he only played in right for 6 seasons and left for 10. Now, Rose played so long, and I'm not a spring chicken, but I remember him as a third baseman for Cincinnati, and of course a first baseman in his later years. Rettenmund is going to be pinch hit for. Ron Fairley. At 259, 4 homers and 13 RBI. He played second. That must have been before Mr. Morgan came from Houston. 1 out. Willoughby's pitch. In the center field, Washington is there. 2 out. For Ron Jackson, who was 1 for 5. He is singled, struck out, and scored. Bloomberg, Johnson, and Molinaro if we go to the 13th. Turned out to be quite the pitcher's duel. White Sox have 8 hits. The Angels have 9. Here's the pitch. Jackson slaps out 1 to third. Soderheim dives, throws, got him. Rose played second and 64. How about that? Ron Bloomberg's coming up. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 12. It's 4-4. Third base is a hard position to play. So Bloomberg. Mr. Bloomberg's got himself a solo homer and a double. He's 2 for 5. He scored twice. LaRoche delivers into center field. Gritch on the grass, 1 out. Brings up Lamar Johnson, 1 for 5. He's doubled, scored, and driven in a run. Top of the 13th inning. Baylor, Bostic, and Lansford. We'll see if somebody can put across another run here. Pitch from LaRoche. Ball 4, so the go-ahead run is on. For Molinaro, who just eats lefties for lunch, he's 1 for 5. Stole a base, struck out, singled, and drove in a run. Throw to first. Johnson's laughing at LaRoche. He's back. And Greg Pryor is going to pinch hit. Greg Pryor at 303 with 5 RBI. 2 homers on the real year, driven in 15. Greg, Facebook fixture. Especially, we'll friend you if you ask for it. And quite active on the White Sox history page, which somehow I got invited to, which I think is pretty cool. Pitch to Pryor. Ground ball to LaRoche. Gritch for 1 over to first. And the band plays on. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 13th. It's still 4-4 the score. So Baylor, Bostic, and Lansford to face Willoughby, who's out for his 4th inning. Baylor has walked twice and struck out. He scored 1 of those runs. And is 0 for 3 in 74. The Royals had a black hole at third. Come on, I was only 2. Even tried Hal McRae there. Goodness gracious, really? George Brett came up. and called the position his. Pitch to Baylor. Ground ball to short. Kessinger over to first for the out. Lyman Bostic is 1 for 5 with a single. If we go to the 14th, Washington, Soderholm, and Nordhagen. Nordhagen, by the way, is a 3 and a 5 behind the plate. Pitch to Bostic. In the left, in the corner. Gar makes the catch. 2 out. So Willoughby is going to go 4. Unless Carney Lansford can do something about it. He's 2 for 5. He singled twice, scored a run, drove one in. And struck out. Clinton doing his funny business. Not that Brett guy did anything. Just argued with the umps at Yankee Stadium. One of my all-time favorite baseball moments is watching Steinbrenner storm out of his owner's box in Game 3 of the 80 ALCS. That was just awesome. Pitch to Lansford. Ground ball to Kessinger deep in the hole over to first, and the band played on. We go to the 14th. 4-4 the score. So LaRoche is out. Yeah, I know what game it was. The Pine Tar game. And it's a good thing they restrained Brett on that day because George Brett was going to kill somebody. I've gotten mad before in my time. Imagine that, being male and pushing 50. But I've never seen anybody as openly mad in public as what George Brett was that day. Oh, yes, DC's talking about his Preparation H thing. Washington is 0 for 1. I think they got to hit him. And he slices that one up the middle. Gritch behind the bag over to first for the out. I was 16 when this game started, and I'm 48 here in the 14th. Soderholm is 0 for 4. Eric has struck out twice. Here's the pitch. Here's a ground ball to Gritch over to first for the out. So Gritch taking some combat pay at second. Wayne Nordhagen is 0 for 1. DJ John says he believes that Dan Dreesen played third base poorly before Pete Rose played there regularly. Pitch to Nordhagen. There's a ground ball to Jackson. He'll take it to the bag himself. It's another stretch time. Laren LeGros coming in for Jim Willoughby. Dickie Doles did turn him upside down in the 80 series. That's right. We go to the bottom of the 14th. 4-4. Laren LeGros is making his 14th appearance. He is 1-2 with 7 saves with a 1.62 ERA. His last time out was last night against these Angels. He won a clean inning. In 16 2/3 innings, he allowed 11 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. He walked 6 and struck out 11 in the save. And the 4 of you that have stayed this entire game are well deserving of the quad candlestick. This might be one of the longest baseball games I've ever called. Did a 19-inning game once, but not part of a regular replay. Brian Downing is 1 for 5. He has struck out, singled, and scored. Landreau and Gritch to follow. LeGros' night starts with a ground ball to Orta over to first for the out. Wayne Nordhagen's probably thinking, I'm going to get the night off, not realizing he's going to play 7 innings of a single game. Kenny Landreau is 0 for 1. LeGros deals. Popped up. Kessinger. On the grass. 2 out. For Bobby Gritch. Bobby's 2 for 4. Singled twice, driven in 2, and walked twice. Bobby didn't even have that mustache before the game began. The former Oriole draws a walk. So the winning run is on for Dave Chalk. 2 for 4 with a walk. It's the 7th time through the lineup for the Angels. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Chicago. They've left 8 on. 4 runs, 9 hits, an error for the Angels, and they've left 9 on. Pitch to Chalk, and there's a looper into left center field. Grich will go to third, and Chalk will hold at first, and Ron Fairley, who is 0 for 1, can win this game with a base hit. So LeGros has got to be careful here. Laren went 6-5 on the real year with an ERA of 4.40. So Grich, the only runner that matters. Chalk finds the Adirondack chair and sits on first base. I can't believe the Sox pen's pitching this well either. Pitch to Fairley. Into left center field. Washington rides the pony, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit. The Angels strand 2. After 14, it's 4-4. So LaRoche starts this inning. Gar 1 for 6. We've had nearly 100 at-bats in this game. Lamar Johnson has made 15 putouts. The White Sox have 20 assists. The Angels have 15. And there's the proof in the pudding. Willoughby and LeGros have faced 17 batters, and only 2 have reached base. And it's taken 4 virtual hours to play this game. Gar, as I said, is 1 for 6. Pitch from LaRoche. Gar, line drive left field. That's a base hit. So the White Sox have their 9th hit to start the 15th inning. Kessinger playing for the bunt. Lansford and Jackson come in. LaRoche steals. Kessinger squares. Downing throws to first. Grich covering. And Gar moves to second. They're going to walk order. They face Bloomberg. 1 out. Bloomberg 2 for 6. He has doubled, homered, scored twice, and drove himself in. What a ball game. Jackson, Baylor, and Bostic in the bottom of the 15th for the Angels. Downing and LaRoche have a few words. LaRoche's pitch. Bloomberg into shallow center. Bostic is there. Gar's got a retreat. 2 out. For Lamar Johnson, who was 1 for 5. He's got himself an RBI double, a walk, and a run scored. Pitch from LaRoche. Struck him out. They got out of it. A breaking ball looking on strike 3. And so the White Sox have stranded 10. We go to the bottom of the 15th inning. No runs, a hit, no errors. For those of you who are staying, good job, gang. Chicago 4, California 4. My goodness. So Ron Jackson, Don Baylor, and Lyman Bostic. And if we should see the 16th, Lemon. Chet Lemon is a 7-7 and right, by the way, and he is the leading hitter in all of baseball at 488. Claudel Washington and Eric Soderholm. And I'm sticking to my sheet. Ow. And that's First World Problems starring Uncle Ron. So Ron Jackson is 1 for 6. He has singled, struck out, and scored. LeGros, ground ball to short. Kessinger to Johnson, 1 away. So Baylor is 0 for 4. He has walked twice, scored once, and struck out. LeGros delivers. Got him! He looked at a 2-2 for strike 3. And that's the first strikeout for LeGros. And now bring up Bostic, who is 1 for 6. He is singled and grounded into a double play. Pitch from Larry Negro. Ground ball to Kessinger. He's been a busybody over to first. And the band plays on. After 15, it's still 4-4. The wind now blowing out to right at 21. If somebody can just put one out there, we could all go home. The great Mets-Braves game, 4th of July, 85, 19 innings. Rick Camp with the fireworks at 10 minutes of 5 in the morning. And, of course, the Easter Sunday marathon between the Caps and the Islanders in 87 that went to quadruple overtime. Imagine trying to wear all that goalie equipment for all that time. Chet Lemon is hitting .488. He's hit 5 home runs and 32 RBI. He's sitting on an 11-game hitting streak. Who knows? He might actually get 2 chances here. Thank you, Dutch. How are you? All the best to you, too. Here's the pitch. Lemon strikes out. So LaRoche got him on an 0-2 changeup. And LaRoche, well, hey, we've been at this an hour and a half. Camp's blast was awesome. Yep. John Sterling talking about eating his hat. I wonder if he ever did. Claudell Washington is 0-2. If we go, well, we're going to go to the bottom of the 16th. Lansford, Downing, and Landreau. Pitch from LaRoche. Washington, ground ball to Chalk, deep in the hole. Throws to first. In time. For Soderheim, it was 0-5 and 2 strikeouts. They're not the games that land you in Baseball Digest Best Game I Ever Played articles. And it's now a frigid 51 degrees for the 8 people in Anaheim who stayed for this game. Pitch to Soderholm into center field. Bostic will make the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. It'll be Lansford, Downing, and Landreau, and maybe somebody can end our misery and send us home. Both teams have combined to strand 21 runners. Yep, the Rochester Wings and Pawtucket Red Sox, as Clinton tells us, 2 days, 8 hours, and 33 minutes. That was in 1981. Wade Boggs played in that game. He was clean-shaven when it started. He had met Margot Adams and had a full mustache and beard at the end of it. Lansford is 2-6. RBI, run scored, and a strikeout. Pitch from LeGros. Liner into left center field, and the winning run is on. So Lansford's on with a single. That's only the 11th hit for the Angels. Brian Downing is 1-6. Singled, scored, and struck out. The White Sox got 1 in the first. The Angels countered with 4 in the 7th. And the White Sox tied this game in the 8th. And so we've gone 8 innings now without a run. And LaRoche has thrown 4 1/3 innings. California's bullpen has faced 30 batters. And that's after Knapp faced 32. Pitch, throw to first, Lansford back. So LeGros is thrown 2 full innings. He's allowed 2 hits, a walk, and a strikeout. Pitch. Got away from Nordhagen. And Lansford moves up 90 on the wild pitch. So Downing's starting to salivate here at the plate. You got to wonder if they're going to walk him. But there's nobody out. So you could set up a double play, but you're putting the winning run on third. Here's the pitch. Downing. Base hit, game over. Lansford will round third, and the Angels finally win this on the RBI single by Brian Downing in the 16th inning. California wins it 5-4. What a ball game. 5 runs, 12 hits, 1 error. LaRoche goes to 4-2. LeGros, hard luck loser. 2 innings, 3 hits, a run. It was earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Chicago. 5 runs, 12 hits, and an error for California. And so after an hour and a half, we can tell you the Angels win this one 5-4. Ready for the rest of the day in baseball? What a game. So the White Sox fall to 2 back. And so on this 24th of May, I will take a nap now. Let's go through the rest of the day in baseball for you, shall we? The Reds down the Braves 9-1. Cincinnati goes to 22-21. Paul Mosco, gets his second win. George Foster with his 9th of the year. Fred Norman, 7 innings in that one. Oh, no, that was the 23rd. The Cubs beat the Phillies 8-7. Bruce in 16. So both Chicago teams play 16 innings. Bruce Sutter goes to 2-3. The Cubs had 21 hits and walked 11. San Francisco beats Houston 7-6. The count. John Montefusco goes to 3-3. JT Dutch, thank you, my friend. No, I'm doing. I always do the home team unless it's the Red Sox. Doubleheader between the Orioles and the Tigers. Tigers won the first one 3-2. Jim Slayton goes to 3-3. Baltimore wins the nightcap behind Jim Palmer 6-1. Doug DeCinces hits 2 homers for his 8th. Palmer, no earned runs in the nightcap. He struck out 5 in the process. Pirates go to 29-11. Baseball Demos is the one that manages the White Sox, by the way. They beat the Mets 3-2. Don Robinson gets the win. He goes to 2-1. Pat Zachary goes to 0-5. Robinson struck out 7 in 7 innings. The Blue Jays are .500, and so are the Red Sox. Lemanzik, 2-5 on the year. Willie Upshaw, 3-4 with 2 doubles. 2-0. The Blue Jays win. Texas shuts out Minnesota 6-0. Doc Ellis goes to 3-3. Montreal 1, St. Louis 0. Hal Dews gets the start in a complete game. How about that? Oakland down Milwaukee 2-1. Dave Heaverlo goes to 2-3. The Dodgers beat the Padres 4-3-12. Charlie Huff goes to 2-2. By the way, the Red Sox had 4 errors in that game. Kansas City beat Seattle 7-3. Rich Gale goes to 3-1. And the game you just saw, California 5, Chicago 4. Baseball on tape for you sometime in the next couple days. Next live game will be the Dodgers and the Giants on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Have yourself a great rest of the day.